I just want to show you how to find the percent or use the percent into Desmos. So if I want 10% of like 500, for example, if I go 500, then I hit percent, you see it says 500% off. That's not what I want. I want 10% of 500. So I'm going to change that really quickly. So on 10% of 500, and it's going to give me that it's 50. So 10% of 500 is 50, and that's my change. So when they don't give you a table and they ask you to find, say, for example, 4%. So I'm going to go again, I put it in Desmos. If I just put percent in, it'll tell me I want 4% of what number? Of $1,000. And then it's going to tell me what that change is. So I'm changing 4% is of $1,000. I'm sorry. I'm changing by 40 every time. So if you look from here to here, it's going to be changing by 40, 40. So that's simple interest. But I'm also going to show you in the real world, we don't call it y equals mx plus b. In the real world, you have an equation that says to find the simple interest, that's the interest, okay? To find the interest, the equation is I equals the principal times the interest rate times the time that you're in it. We have this equation. Please do not write it down. I just want to show you how it's the same thing. All right, and now I have a different equation. All right, so if I take the principal and multiply it by R, the interest rate, so the principal in this question, for example, was 500. And then if I multiply that by the interest rate, which is 10%, which is 0.1, I'm going to get 50. Where do you see 50 in this problem? Right here, right? So what that's telling you is P times R is equal to the principal times the rate is equal to M. Okay, so that's what P times R means. What is the T? T is the time, right? And what is X? X is the time. So if I had 1 year, this would be T. So this right here is T. So to calculate the interest rate, it's really slope times the time, right? So it's PRT. If I want to know what is my total after a certain time, I have to add B. And what's B? B is equal to what I started off with. So I started off with 500. So PRT is equal to the 50 times whatever the time is. And then I'm going to add my principal. This will give me my total. So this PRT is my simple interest plus the principal I started with is going to give me my total. So let's look at what that means. So if I was writing this in y equals mx plus b, I would write 50x plus 50. And now if I'm writing it in terms of interest rate, PRT, I would write PRT, which is going to be 500 times the interest rate, which is 10% or 0.1, times T, which is X, right? Plus my original starting point, and this is supposed to be 500, I'm tripping, plus my original, which is 500. And if you look at those two graphs, so let me press home. All right, let's unclick it. You see that they are exactly the same. So this PRT, all right, is just the real world version of y equals mx plus b. So PRT, it stands for mx. So the slope times the amount of time that has passed. If you want to find the total, so that will give you the interest, the amount of interest you earned. So for example, if 3 years have passed, 3 times 50 would give me 150. You earned $150, which makes sense because if I'm at 650 and I started with 550, that difference is $150. All right, so I just wanted to make that real life connection to you. You don't need it for my class, but I just wanted to make it. Let's practice.